Hi, so stay with me for next 10 minutes, and within these 10 minutes, I'm going to make you understand how to write an answer for modern India, which specific things you have to keep in mind, and eventually, if you'll follow it, what kind of marks you can get in the exam. Alright, so let us start without wasting any time. Wellesley converted the British Empire in India to the British Empire of India, critically examined. So first very important thing which you have to understand is in modern as well as world history, UPSC asks a lot of comment. Now this comment has been given by one of the historians, Sidney J. Owen. He has given this comment. Okay, so whenever you read B.L. Grover, as I've already recommended this book for UPSC preparation for history optional, you can remember such comments. In the introduction, you can always start with this. The question says critically examine. So we have to see which policy changes were done by Wellesley and eventually what was its outcome. Let us try to understand it. Okay, I have the copy of one of the topper. In this we are going to understand what all has been written by him. So Lord Wellesley became the Governor General in 1798 at a time when companies still faced challenges from Marathas, Mysore, Tipu Sultan and the intransient Nawabs of Awadh as well as Nizam of Hyderabad. So this introduction has been done by one of the toppers, and if you try to understand, तो मुकुल ने क्या लिखा है? He had just used the timeline approach. In the timeline approach, number one, in which the year has been mentioned. Second, he has also added the important dynasty which were required to be defeated by the British in order to become the supreme authority in India. It means he has highlighted the circumstances also. This is a good way of doing introduction, timeline plus circumstances in modern India. Please remember this. This is number one. Number two, so when we talk about Wellesley's actions, okay, so here we will go, but let me give you more example about the introduction. In the introduction, if you know about the historian who have made this comment, but हर comment याद नहीं रहने वाला, that is very reality. Okay, so few comments you can make a list of them. Like here you can write in the introduction that Sidney J. Owen has commented this in the context of, in which context? In the context of the policies followed by Lord Wellesley in order to increase their territorial dimensions in India, and finally creating a big empire. So in this what we have done, we have identified the historian who have commented, and second we have just mentioned the context. So these are the two ways which the introduction can be done in this specific question. Alright, let us try to see further. Wellesley's actions allied with Marathas and Hyderabad. So all of you understand, in 1798 when he came to India, Napoleon has become a very prominent personality in Europe and he was going towards Egypt. So there was a kind of theory that he may come towards India. So that's why the French danger had become very reasonable in the minds of the British, and this specific perception was exploited by Lord Wellesley to fight many wars in India. Okay, he said since Napoleon can come, we have to safeguard each and everything, and that's how he started with Mysore. Okay, so Mysore, as all of you know, fourth Anglo-Mysore war, he defeated the enemy Tipu Sultan. He died during the war, but he took the help of Marathas as well as Hyderabad. It means he knew how to use diplomacy in order to defeat his enemy. First step. Second, the most prominent treaty, okay, one of the most important methods, subsidiary alliance treaty. This idea of subsidiary alliance came from Dupleix, who was a French governor, but this was used by Lord Wellesley on very high scale. So he was able to sign it with Hyderabad as well as Awadh. So this became an important second step, okay, in increasing the dominion of British in India. Third, he was able to even sign a treaty with Pune. In this, there is a factual error of 1800. So by 1802, 31st December 1802, he was able to sign with the Peshwa, and eventually he became the de jure political power in Western and Peninsular India. So this is the famous Treaty of Basin, which was nonetheless a treaty of subsidiary alliance. All right. Then finally, he was able to defeat Marathas from 1802 to 1805, the most important Second Anglo-Maratha War. So you can see Lord Wellesley or Richard Wellesley was able to fight with Mysore. He was able to sign treaties with the other important powers, okay, like that of Hyderabad as well as Awadh, and plus he has been able to defeat Marathas. Marathas was the biggest challenge to the British. If there would have been any power after the Mughals, it would have been the Marathas who could have become the major power in India, but that was crushed by the British. By 1803, 1804, when the Marathas were fighting, by that time British were able to even conquer Delhi. This is how their dominion expanded. Their fortunes multiplied by the coming of Wellesley, and this is what you have to write in the first part. And for creating this British Empire in India to British Empire of India, he was able to increase dominion by using various kinds of policies. Now let us try to understand what are the limitations which we can find in the Wellesley era. So if we see first one, the Holkars under Yashwant were still undefeated. So yes, this remained one of the reasons. Okay, so Marathas was not totally crushed. That will happen in the third by 1817, 1818. Maharaja Ranjit Singh established a powerful Sikh empire. So this area didn't come under the control of the British till the death of Ranjit Singh. Ranjit Singh also died in 1839. Okay, the tenure of Wellesley is from 1798 till 1805, only for 7 years. So some of the area remains outside his domain. So that has been highlighted by Mukul in this. And finally, even Sindh and Afghanistan were still restive. Afghanistan ke saath the war will be fought from 1838 onwards, and even there the British would not be able to win. So as a result of all of this, what we can realize, yes, he significantly contributed in increasing the dominion of the British, but still some areas remain outside their dominion. So these become the limitations of the statement which has been given by Sidney J. Owen. So this is what we have to remember. So let us see the conclusion. Has Wellesley contributed to it, but the British Empire of India needed Lord Hastings, Bentinck as well as Dalhousie. This is very important. Even we can omit Lord William Bentinck because too much of expansion did not happen, but Lord Hastings, that was a very prominent Governor General. Okay, and finally Lord Dalhousie. Lord Dalhousie is considered as the finest kind of person when it comes to neo-Victorian imperialism. So once he came to India, a very aggressive monarch was already there in England, and that's how he was able to capture roughly 50% of whatever has been conquered by the British in last 100 years. From 1757 till 1848, whatever was conquered by the British, half of that was acquired by Dalhousie from 1848 till 1856 when he left India. So that's why the statement has some limitation, and we have to highlight these limitations. So that's why these toppers are writing answers in our test series, and whenever you become a part of it, you'll get an access to this. So you have to make sure, well, while doing answer writing, these things are very clear to you. Whenever a question comes, if you know the person who has made the statement, that is something best which can happen in paper 2. If you wish to score very high in paper 2, this is one of the most important thing which you have to remember. Some of the keywords which could have been included here, which where I see a little bit of limitation, can be like that the policy of ring fence was taken away by coming of the Governor General. All right. So Wellesley was something who didn't fight only for self-defense. He fought for aggressive kind of policy. So that aggressive policies became the cornerstone of the British from 1798 onwards. Before that, they normally avoided war. Okay, that was known as policy of ring fence, in which they wanted to feel safe and secure by creating more friends. All right, so that policy, that word could have also come here. So if we see this question, introduction can be writing about Wellesley, his imperialist ambition, or we can even mention the historian. Explain his policies, explain the territorial context under the Wellesley. We can then highlight the limitations. Then we can talk about the conclusion also, that, okay, in which how he transformed British from a relatively smaller power to a very paramount power. That can be written in the conclusion. And finally, you can even write the statement of Thomas Munro, because the subsidiary alliance system which was started by Lord Wellesley, there is a statement only, a state purchased security by the sacrifice of independence of national character or whatever renders a people respectable. This is what told by Thomas Munro. There's this whole system of subsidiary alliance. It was a Trojan horse. And secondly, if you see the keywords, so we have to remember subsidiary alliance system, policy of ring fence, Anglo-Mysore war, Anglo-Maratha war. These are the keywords which are to be covered in this. You can even give the background with respect to the rise of Napoleon in Europe and the consequent tension which comes in the British as a colonial power, and eventually this was used by Wellesley for expansion in India. So this is how you have to ensure that in such questions you are able to cover various dimensions. This is not just factual knowledge. Okay, you have to learn how to use limited knowledge within the contours of a specific policy or a Governor General. So UPSC do ask questions on Governor General, and he is one of the important ones along with Lord Dalhousie. Bentinck questions are asked, but they are from the perspective more from the reforms, less from the point of view of annexation. But these two are very important. All right. So please remember, this is how you do answer writing, and the copy of Mukul shows how he got 295 marks. Because even if you cover this much, naturally you have covered majority of the dimensions. If it is a 10 marker question, I can easily reward it 6 to 7 marks. So 60 to 70% marks can easily come in such an answer. And this is exactly what the target is going to be for majority of the students. If we talk see 300, it's 60% marks out of 500. All right, so that is which can be achieved, but for that you have to create good introduction. In the context also, you have to bring in the points to support the argument, as well as if there is any limitation with respect to that statement, that should also be part of it. And then a meaningful conclusion, highlighting the challenges which remain in front of the British. So I hope many of you would have learned some new things about answer writing for modern India. For rest, the series will continue, and I'll make sure कि आप कुछ चीजें सीखते जाएं. And next year, when you will, majority of you will be writing your mains, by that time you'll be very well prepared. Okay, so all the very best, and I'll see you in the next video.